Today is Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 46, Week 7.
This episode was titled Episode Several. No one in the show actually said that. Probst made a reference to Jelinski's definition. Jelinski's definition of several equating to 7. But those exact words I do not believe were said in the episode. Previously on Survivor, let's gather for the merge. Hunter got his hidden immunity idol. We've got the Voyage Alliance, and they've got a +1. We got Yanu and Nami coming together to blast Mo right out of there, and we are fully merged. Okay, the merged tribe's name is NuiNui. NuiNui.
That's weird. They'll probably have an extra clip this week explaining who said it, where it came from, what they're saying it means, etc. Et
so this is the return from tribal there on night 13, and Venus is wondering about that one vote that she got. She wonders for a minute, and then she goes, that's Soda. Soda had to have done it. There's no other possible answer. It was Soda. So she confronts her, and Soda says, not me. But that,
good one, baby. You remembered that, not me.
But Venus wasn't accepting that answer. And so they go back and forth a little bit about that. Soda's alarmed, she tells us, at how those interactions continued to proceed with Venus. And Tevin is telling us that Venus has got to go. She's just showing how toxic they all are.
Well, Tevin's more upset, I think, or is at least as upset with Soda, because she's not listening to him about Venus.
Yeah.
He's tried to tell her, and look at her over there.
Talk. She just goes off and talks with her.
I think both Tevin and Q just want to be, as Q said, the mob boss.
The main characters. They do seem to envision themselves as the main characters.
Yep, and that everyone should be listening to their directives. So
Tiffany says everybody's up in the air now. And then Charlie just can't stand it. He's got to go and tell Venus, I voted for you. It was me.
I did it. Yeah, it wasn't, I'm not sure what he thought he was going to gain. And it definitely could put an even bigger target on his back, but it didn't necessarily pan out that way in the end, but it could have.
Q's used to knucklehead moves like that, so he says, Charlie, we got to have a talk. Coming on down to the beach.
Well,
Charlie, you're being emotional, he tells him. He just had to put Charlie in his place. He's going to slip up, make mistakes.
Him a little bit. Explain it to him.
Yes. And in the presence of Tim, for some reason.
Yeah. I was like, that's probably why, it was Tim, not Ben. But anyway, I don't know why he thought he had to school Charlie a little bit.
Tell you what, Charlie played it perfect.
He did. I'm not sure I would have held my tongue, but
that was textbook, the way to go with that. I messed up. You are right. I made a mistake. And then to us in his confessional, Charlie says, "Yeah, Q's running the show. We got to get Q out of here. Not really having any of that."
And then Ben has a very bad dream.
Panic attack, he said.
Yeah.
Yep. Wakes up with some hysteria, some gasping going on. It gets Kenzie's attention, and I forget who else. There was someone else that came over there with him, too.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But Kenzie ends up doing the more of the help
that he turns to.
Yeah, and she tells us that she's had other family members she's had to help that have had challenges like that.
Yeah, and she seemed to be good at it, so
She got him up, took him over to the fire, made a fire, so he would have that. That was perfect. Just get some comfort of the fire in.
Yeah, and he
Plus,
was cold.
Fire TV. Yeah. getting warm, but fire's a great distraction too.
Yes, it is. And it can be kind of soothing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a
So
security
she did all
component to that.
the right things.
Yep, get him through that storm. And then, bingo, we're in the challenge.
Yeah,
Day
that was
14.
fast.
So this is essentially a one-day episode. It's all happening on day 14. It's a double elimination on day 14. So they show up at the immunity challenge, one that we've seen several times before and not too long ago in the 40s, where they have to balance up on the floating, we call it the doghouse, that's got several steps along the roof there that they have to stand on. And this time they're starting them on the second from the top. So
Yeah, there used to be some that didn't have the flat board on the top, didn't they? They just had to stand on the sides.
I don't know.
Was that ever
You're
a
asking
case
a question that we
that
may
I
not know
can't
the answer to.
I don't, obviously. So
Yeah, I don't recall the specifics of that. We'd have to look it up on the Survivor Wiki. That's got great information about all the challenges that are out there, historical information on them.
And Jeff tells them 2 people going home tonight.
Yeah, gonna break into the 2 teams as they had shown us in Next Time on Survivor with the 2 different colors. 2 teams of 6. There's going to be 2 individual immunities awarded, but for the last person standing, they will win reward for their team. And the reward, in addition to getting an individual immunity, the reward is hot or cold coffee, which we ended up seeing someone pouring some iced coffee, I think.
Yeah, my first thought was, why would they want cold coffee? Because they're freezing out there and then this and that. Why wouldn't they want warm coffee?
Sure enough, somebody wanted some.
Yeah.
So maybe
Well, that's
got
what I
hot
thought.
later.
A lot of people like that, but we never did. So
Yeah. So coffee, tea, sandwiches, meat pies.
and Danishes.
Yeah, cream cheese Danishes, I think it
Oh,
said.
cream cheese.
Yeah. Good stuff. The
Sounds
first
good to
person
me.
eliminated will not be on the jury. The second person that gets voted out at the second tribal council will become the first person on the jury.
Wow. I kind of like that he laid it out. They didn't surprise them. They let them know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in that first group, you
Here's the
really
stakes.
don't want to be in the first group.
Yeah.
They wanted them to work hard for it.
So the purple team ends up being Tevin, Liz, Soda, and Venus, and then with Maria and Charlie. And then the orange team is Hunter, Q, Kenzie, Tiffany, Ben, and Tim. And the first round is 15 minutes at that second from the top step. And they were blessed with just glass, mirrored water there.
They were, yeah.
Very smooth. The biggest waves were when people fell in. What'd you think of Q's alphabet game?
Obviously, I didn't think much of it, and neither did they, because they kept...
Well, they didn't get to play very much because Ben and Liz couldn't figure it out. And then Charlie was just pulling his leg a little, I think, with that part.
And I'm not sure they actually really wanted to play, so...
Well, they seemed pretty excited initially.
I don't think I'd want the... Well, maybe, I don't know.
This is when Probst drops
Haven't
the
done it,
several minutes in comment.
Yeah.
And everyone makes it through the first 15-minute round, unlike the last time they played this challenge that they flash back to.
I don't remember anyone any teams doing that before where somebody didn't fall.
Yeah, it just depends on the water conditions, but I don't remember the historical performances in this challenge. Okay, so everyone makes it through, and then Q and Soda and Ben are promptly out of the game after they go into the second phase, which round 2 lasts 30 minutes with both feet on top of the floating doghouse there.
Well, you could tell that they were really feeling it by the time they finished the first one.
You get a nice education on some colloquialisms there. What's up, Jeff? We're told by Q is a way to ask the time. Jeff's a quick study, so he nails it. The second time he gets a "What's up, Jeff?" from Tim, and that was the call in at 23 minutes into that second round. And Tim starts some shout outs, similar to Gabler when he was up there doing an endurance challenge. But he's listing his family and then other people's families too. That was fun. And then they enter into the last round. This is they have to stand with, they can only have 1 foot down on the top, not 2. So they've got to hang 1 foot off the side, and then they've got 1 foot to balance on. So we see Charlie, Tim, Venus, and Hunter are out just right off the bat.
Yep.
Having trouble managing that. And Tiff goes out, and then Kenzie right after. So Kenzie ends up securing immunity. I wondered if she forgot or maybe she didn't understand because she went so quick. Maybe that was just her dropping. That there was actually a competition. She was still in competition with the other team for reward.
Oh, no, I think she lost
She
balance.
just legitimately lost right after
Yeah.
Tiffany. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that even, the others falling and the motion and even Tiff, Tiff hadn't quite hit the ground or anything, but when you kick off of those things, they move.
Sure.
So she was right in front of her, so that would have.
Kenzie was roughly in front of.
Yeah, but Tiffany barely hit the water before Kenzie did.
Fell. Yeah. Okay, it's a showdown between Tevin and Maria. I did not see that coming. Usually it's the really small women that have the advantage. Tevin's pretty small and thin, so maybe that played into it. He certainly got some feet that flatten out once he's up there.
Well,
the side of his foot, the way it just spread out.
I keep thinking he's done some dance too, so.
Yes, probably the case since he's had that big theater background. And he almost falls and does a magnificent recovery.
Yes, he did.
And then he falls. And then Maria wins. So she wins individual immunity along with Kenzie. Tells us she was thinking about herself and that she had gone through much worse pain. Flashback to her humble brag of giving birth to her kids at home. And I believe her. Okay, Kenzie gets her immunity necklace. Maria gets hers and a hug from Jeff. She went in for the bonus territory. And she has secured reward for those hungry people who didn't get a merge feast.
Yep.
And purple will go to tribal council second, and orange doesn't go back to camp to the NuiNui beach. They go to the old Siga beach. And Hunter tells us that he's going to play his idol if he gets any indication that might be necessary, because he's all about being here another day, and it's very clear to him that he is the odd man out in this team. So, okay, back to NuiNui Beach. Again, everything happening on day 14. The purple team gets their reward. They start chowing down. A lot of good food there. That might have been better than the charcuterie board that they had for the merch feast. There's some good stuff in there, especially with those
meat pies.
Meat pies, yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. I thought, ooh, I'd go for that over the pastry.
And Venus was good to point out and to thank Maria for securing that reward for them.
Yeah, and she still
gave them
remembering.
a second life. Everybody in this group has now officially at least made the jury at a minimum. Yep. So thanks to Maria.
And she's already determined Charlie wrote my name down.
Yep, Charlie did it. Charlie bit my finger.
But Tevin wants to be the curator of the first blind side of the season.
Mm-hmm. They may assume Charlie, but
first blind side.
Tevin, he doesn't know anything about the other votes, evidently, that took place. He's got different plans. He tells us that he and Maria know differently.
Well, then we flip over to the other team, and Q is saying that he has deliberately not been showing his ability in challenges by design.
And he threw this one today.
Yeah.
We went back and watched.
We went back.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do. It looked like he jumped off. And
I don't know. I don't believe him. Especially given how gassed he's been in so many challenges, and that seemed so remarkable. I'm hesitant to believe that.
I think he just thought, I'm done. I'm just going to jump off.
And I don't need to
I'm
worry.
Fall off.
We've got the majority. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought he jumped.
In any case,
But what I didn't quite understand was that he wanted to jump off to see if he could trust his alliance.
Yeah, see, that part's stupid.
That didn't make sense to me.
That's completely faulty logic. You don't do that. You don't play around like that. So I don't believe you at all.
So I
That's
didn't
another
think
part
he's
that
been
made it
very
suspect.
smart this episode at all. In my opinion, he just kept on adding on and adding on.
He
It's
did
like,
manage to
dude.
step on it quite a bit.
Yes, he did. But I was actually a little surprised that Tim went right in telling
Well,
Q.
it's got to be Hunter.
Got to be Hunter. Got to
Nobody
get
else.
him out.
That's their only choice.
Yeah.
Q was quick to point out, well, he's part of the Voyage 6 Alliance.
No, we got to get out of Nami.
Yeah, Tim's
And he's the
all
only
about
one
that.
we got.
Yes.
He's wanting to make sure it wasn't him. But that's what convinced Q to go after Tim.
Well, that
I
and
think-
some other things.
Well, yes, but I
'Cause
think that was the main one.
He was focused on voting for Ben.
Yeah,
that
he
point.
was. But not when, Tim was really pushing.
Yeah, he didn't.
Hunter.
He tells us, well, is he still playing the Sega game or is he playing the Q game with me? What is he doing? Yeah, he definitely gave him cause for concern. Tim did not seem to be reading the room really well.
See, I was totally sure Tim was going. But then when I made my picks in the middle of the night, I thought, well, I could see Hunter, Q, and Tim staying together at least through this vote, and so that they would know they had that alliance of 6. And I thought, well, maybe I better go with Ben. You had said you had Ben, and I thought, well, that could be. And so I thought, yeah, I'm going to go with Ben. And I had planned to go with Charlie, and I thought, no, I don't think Nami's going to vote for him. I kind of think they're going to vote for Venus. So, of course, I put Venus. And that didn't pan out, but it was funny because you had Ben, and then today when I talked to you, you said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go look at it again. And so just before the show came on, you said, no, I went with Tim and Charlie.
Well, it was a couple hours before that, but yes,
No,
I
it
did
wasn't.
change it. When I changed it, it was, yeah.
Oh, when you changed it. Yeah, I meant when you told me. It was right before it started.
Okay, we're going to bounce back over there to the NuiNui Beach with the purple team.
Okay, NuiNui. Are you sure that's how it's pronounced?
Positive.
Okay.
Charlie tells us he is in the
Positive,
Nami
I like
Lion's Den. Yeah, I mean, ask a silly question, get a silly answer. Soda is not concerned like Charlie. She's ready to take a nap. Charlie's like, hey, I'm calm on the outside, but I really wish somebody would come talk to me. And Soda does eventually oblige. And she read him perfect. You bet you're freaking out right now, aren't you? Yes, I am, Soda.
Well, she wasn't worried because she's very secure in her alliance, and so she didn't want him gone, so she wasn't worried about it. We'll just take Venus out. No problem. I'd rather work with Charlie. I like him better.
Charlie's
He'd
loyal.
be much more loyal to me than Venus.
Yep, Venus is sus, she tells us.
So that's when she could take a nap and relax because she wasn't worried.
She drops the knowledge on Charlie, target Venus. And then she goes to Tevin and said, let's target Venus. And Soda is happy because her and Tevin, she tells us, are on the same page. Cut to Tevin.
Tevin's talking to Liz. Let's vote for Soda.
Soda talks too much. Can't read her. Yeah. Talk.
And she's just too good socially. Can't have it.
Blindside Soda. That's the plan. And Liz is on board.
Oh yeah, well he knew she would be. She's wanted Soda all along.
Yeah. Soda's got to go.
Yeah, but then he goes to Maria and tells her
Or
that,
tells us that he trusts Maria. That was news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hadn't seen that established until now. Okay.
Well, I kind of thought it was because they knew that they were in the alliance of 6. So
Then after getting it squared away with Maria that they were going to vote for Soda, he takes that to Charlie.
yeah, and why wouldn't Charlie go along?
Well, Charlie tells us I've gone from scared to what the heck's going on here? First Venus, then it's Soda.
But they knew Nami was terribly broken.
I don't think he knew completely because you
That they
remember
were
what we were
that
talking
broken.
about? Yeah, because Charlie wasn't making a lot of social connections. Mo and Tim were working more socially.
So that's why they still think he's so sweet.
Yeah.
He hadn't talked much. And he listens to what they have to say.
Yeah, and apologizes when he's wrong.
That's right.
My goodness.
And so what could be better than that?
Cut to Venus
Supportive.
in the shelter alone. No one's coming to her, so she's going to have to get up and go talk to someone. No easy votes for her, she tells us.
Well, and she says, well, it should be Charlie, but she wants to make a big move.
They're playing with fire, ignoring me.
And she thinks Tevin's the bigger threat. It's like, oh my gosh.
When she's talking to Maria. Yeah.
I didn't even see all this coming where she's, Venus is after Tevin. Tevin and Liz are after Soda and or Venus. They could go either way. And Liz is definitely more after Soda. And Soda's after Venus. It's like, wow.
The women on this tribe did not make peace. They must have been at war the whole time, and we just didn't get to see it because they weren't featured. They kept winning. Meanwhile, they're constantly going at each other.
Well, Tevin talks about Soda and how good she was, but he's the one that I see most out talking to everyone.
What did you think about Venus's interaction with Maria and how Maria responded?
I thought that was interesting. I actually didn't expect Maria to be
that blunt.
It's
like Venus?
Yeah. She's kind of like, well,
give her a dose of her own medicine.
You
Yeah, you're coming too hard. And Venus's reply, well, that must be a problem with you.
Yeah.
You get the sense that's a common refrain with her.
That about sums it up.
Yeah. Maria tells us poor Venus, she's oblivious how she's perceived by others.
Well, actually, Maria didn't tell her that at that time, but she's kind of sloughed her off a bit. Mm-hmm. She told her when she came back. But
right. But Venus was picking up on it.
Oh, yeah. She could tell she wasn't really on board.
Wary of me, yeah.
Yeah. So
Venus
what did
goes
she do?
To Charlie.
That's right. Got to be Soda. Or if it's not Soda, we have number 2. We could go Tevin, which would be even better.
She's got a 3-2-1 vote they can pull
me,
off.
and Maria.
But she can tell Charlie's not biting either. Charlie's just dumbfounded. He's telling us the cracks in this NuiNui Tribe are as wide as the oceans.
I think she thought she could really convince Charlie, and he'd be more desperate, and he would convince Maria to do it for him.
I like that she's trying, and I like that she keeps swinging.
Yeah.
But she has no perception of...
She doesn't have self-awareness about
something's
her.
missing. Well, she's picking up that they're not biting at what she's offering, that she's not getting a lock on her pitch.
She's reading them. She's not reading herself. And how she comes across.
So super
and
complicated.
And how she's presented. She doesn't see that.
Yeah.
I think that's why when she went back to Maria, she just couldn't help but point out to her, look, you do this. I thought, and I'm sure she probably does it in real life because she's so unaware of that. But again, she just makes it everybody else's problem. It's their problem, and they did. And
you got a sense that Maria was
her.
I had a sense that Maria was essentially saying, "I've been her. That's why I can recognize it. I used to be that way too, or I've done that before." Anyway, so we're back to the.
Maybe she was trying to help her for her real life.
Back to the NuiNui camp, and we see Venus talking to Maria again, and she tells Venus is very blunt. She tells Maria, "I don't know where I stand with you." And Charlie is eagerly listening in. Do you see him eavesdropping in the background? Like he's pretending like he was sleeping or something, but he was listening to the whole thing.
Of course he was.
And Maria tells her, you come at me and you put me off. And then to us, Maria says, you're conniving and you're sneaky and I really don't want to work with you.
That too.
Venus picks up on the lack of certainty, she describes it. When that essentially put her in a bit of a panic mode. She's not getting anything locked down.
Well, I think basically what she said to Charlie too is, well, if you're not with me, then I'll just stay with the original NAMI group.
Right.
It's like you have that option. You don't know that you have that option, really.
No.
She has no clue that she might not.
Yeah, Charlie doesn't even want to engage. He tells her, I think I'm going to go with shot in the dark. The choice between 1 and 6 with shot in the dark and working with you,
Which he didn't.
I'm going to go with shot in the dark. I know, but he said it. That's quite the dig.
Yeah.
I'll take 1 and 6 over working with you. That's essentially what he was saying.
Well, yeah.
So do that. Go back and see if you can work with the Nami 4.
By this point, he was already feeling safe. Like, he didn't have to worry about it. His name wasn't coming up anymore.
Right.
Even.
We see him talking to Maria and saying exactly that.
Yep.
Evidently, I'm okay.
And so are you, because you have immunity.
Yeah.
So
And he says we have
we're
power.
good. Yeah. They have the power to decide.
He tells us that he went from shaking in his boots to having to decide who he's going to vote for, Venus or Soda. And that they can basically take some control here.
Yep.
It's crazy. What a mess. What a mess. The Nami group was waiting to just self-destruct.
Okay, back over to the other team, and Tim tells Tiffany to vote Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tim. Not reading the room well there either. Tiffany does not like to be told.
No.
Nobody does.
She's paying attention now. She tells us Siga is thirsty to vote out a Nami.
Yep. And Tim is shifty. That she'd rather Ben go because she actually thinks he's a better player
Yes.
than Tim.
He's sneakier.
But because Tim's so shifty,
He's easy to track just like Venus.
Yeah.
And therefore less of a threat.
And then they tell Hunter that it's Tim, but he's not trusting at all.
Nor should
Not
he.
right then. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Mom, I don't trust them. They could be lying, and they could have."
That's the right read. Be nervous.
Yes.
Be ready to play. Be on the lookout for
And
any indication.
he was gonna play,
The idol.
but he didn't. So he must have felt more confident at some point. I think they come together better after they've run all the scenarios and then they decide. And so they go in a little bit more confident sometimes.
We get a couple of interesting interactions between Ben and Kenzie and Ben and Q here. What did you think about the Ben and Kenzie one?
Well, I think they have formed a bond with this, because you can't see someone at their very most vulnerable and not feel some empathy and compassion, and it just creates a certain bond when you walk someone through.
What Kenzie says, it is complicated. Definitely isn't just straight math when you're out here trying to figure this.
Not when it involves something like that.
Yeah. And Ben is pitching to Kenzie that they vote for Hunter. These were interesting interactions. I didn't get the sense that Ben was effective at any of this. He didn't really come with anything to bargain with in a big plan. It was kind of emotions and friends, and here's, we can unite against one of the Namis. Then we see Ben talking to Q and pitching the Hunter vote, and he's trying to convince Q to take a chance. But Q's on to it. He says, well, what if he plays something? How's this going to work for me? I need to vote Ben. So Q has now flipped.
And then he really makes his girls mad.
He's talking to Tiffany and Kenzie, and Tiffany's trying to lay it out for him. She said that was a bluff. He was bluffing. Ben was bluffing. He's just trying to get you. It's a sucker play.
I think Q gets way more, what would you call it, paranoid, I guess. He just kind of flips from, he's like a fish up on the sand flopping around.
It's a windsock. It's whatever direction the wind's blowing.
That's a good analogy.
He's just like, woof, woof. We see that historically,
woof,
just whipping around in the wind. It's whoever says something spins him a different direction.
Oh, well, Tiffany's like, this is not the Q show, and this won't always fly. So I felt like, okay, we'll go along with him.
Could be the beginning of the end for Q for sure.
But we're not always going to go along with you.
And you see these things happen between alliances from time to time where they'll have little mini falling outs and then they're able to recover it. Something else will unite them.
Well, I believe Q firmly believes that Tiffany would do whatever he says. After all, he's bringing her along, and she's his person.
+1.
And he's not really seeing it that Not so much. All of a sudden, Kenzie has become more her person than you.
Yeah.
And she's a lot easier to deal with.
At least consistent.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
And you are just becoming annoying.
Not the flip-floppy, yes.
And she doesn't hesitate to tell him what she thinks
Right.
about things.
Okay, Tribal Council, night 14. Orange team is up first.
Why would Q start out with, boy, that Sika camp was rough. It's like something came through there.
Yeah, he's looking for his opportunity to get some TV time.
Well, see, I still think that's a bad move when there's still Sika members around you're playing with, and you just said, man, y'all really messed up with that camp.
Hunter did not waste any time throwing his lot in with the Yanu 3 there. He's right on it. I would love to be part of it. Let's call it the Yanu 4. That's nice.
Yep.
Kenzie's not completely sure. She's like, do I really want to adopt a stray? And is he really saying that? Is he still
stay with
part
us,
of that Nami
or is he going to go back to the old Nami when he gets back there?
Did he just come for supper, or is he really going to stay?
He might stay, but he came for supper.
Definitely needs some supper.
Whatever gets me through
this tribal
vote,
council.
sure.
Yeah. Tim's not messing around either. He just wants to vote out Hunter. It's an individual game. That's what's going on here.
I don't know, I almost made that too obvious or something.
Yeah, he didn't have any finesse. I think that's fair for sure.
And then
Hunter carried his tribe to here. We've got to take this opportunity to get rid of him.
Well, and Hunter said that. Yeah. I got him here. But that was to keep myself safe.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sometimes he literally had to drag them.
Tim made some good points. He kept coming at Hunter. Hunter hasn't been tested, but Hunter, I think, handled it just fine. Hunter didn't have a vote. He hadn't had to cast a vote to do anything yet, is what he was saying. You looked a little confused when I said that,
yeah.
So I'm guessing that.
Yeah, well, I was trying to think about
Hunter's reply was pretty quick. He said, well, I'm with Yanu.
I remembered they didn't have to vote because Randon went out.
Right.
Okay.
And we get some personal testimony from Ben. Did you think? What did you?
Well, basically, he just said, well, people are always trying to break me and Tim up.
Yeah.
But they can't succeed. It's like, why aren't you fighting to stay in the game? I felt like...
Ben, he was.
I didn't feel like he was.
Well, he went the personal angle. He's like, he celebrated Kenzie. She got up with me at 1 a.m. when I had a panic attack. And normally, what did he say he was? He called himself an entertainment monkey, and that people are happy to have him entertain, and then they discard him when he's done.
Yep.
And he gave a little bit of the swan song. Well, if I am voted out, it's been a beautiful ride.
Yeah, but somewhere in there, he has the desire for the attention as well.
Well, he left that part out.
You don't, I understand a certain amount of that because I always used to feel like when we'd go out, if everybody wasn't having fun, I had to do something to make it fun. And once I realized that, I thought, oh, wow. And that's the way it was when my relatives lived with us for a period of time. And Mom said, I was the entertainment every evening. We didn't have TV. We didn't have any of that. And I would entertain everyone because I was the baby. And I would run around there in my stroller and just act up and do all kinds of things. And they would all laugh at me. And I thought, I think maybe I thought I was supposed to do that. Yeah. And, but, yeah, some people pick that up and, it's habit.
Circling back there, I didn't know quite what to make of all that Ben was saying, but I understood Kenzie's a little more. Hers was clearer, and when Probst hit her with the, hey, you got a real Sophie's Choice problem here, and she brought it back to, these are the people who got me through the merge. Some of them literally picked me up and moved me through that merge challenge. So yes, it's absolutely hard to choose. There are deep connections, and it's hard to separate that out. That's the aspect of the social game that we never get a sense of, that it's really hard to connect to when you're just watching.
Well, and I think Jeff drove it home that, you really do have to vote for one of these guys, whether it's Ben, Tim, or Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
You got to vote for one of them. And I thought, yeah, and she's closer to Ben, and I think she maybe likes Hunter better than she does Tim. So I thought, oh, man, I should have stayed with that.
What did you think about what Q said right before they wrapped up to vote?
Oh, I like that he gave her that credit. And I
Yeah,
think
that
it
was good.
soothed some of the not so brilliant things he said this episode. But it was very nice that, he gave her that kudos that, being the smallest person in the tribe, and she's the one that beat all of them today.
Yes, which has historically...
Well, she didn't beat all of them, but
them.
all of them.
Yeah.
Maria beat all of them.
That was good to celebrate her a little bit there after she was baring her soul and struggling with the deep connections.
And they carried me in.
Lifted
It's like,
her up.
well, you're the one that won today.
Yes.
So,
So did you think Hunter was going to play his idol? I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought,
Yeah, I did too.
okay, yeah, he's going to play. And I thought, no, they settled that up to his satisfaction before Tribal, or he would have played it. So I think
A solid discussion
Was
with
solid.
Tiffany and Kenzie probably would have made you
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not funneling all his communication through Q. I'd like to see some of that a little more, though, just to know for sure. Okay,
All right.
so we end up with 2 votes for Hunter, 3 votes for Tim. Tim's out. And Ben gets a hug there, some brotherly love, he says.
Yeah, he was all teary, and
Tim was crying on his way out.
Tim was crying too.
Yep. And he did not make the jury. He's the last person.
Yeah, well, that's even more tough, I think.
Yep.
You just barely missed it.
And
You
it's-
make the merge, you think you're in this, and you
Nope.
didn't make the jury. We
You
knew
get-
that was a
You get
possibility.
demerged in this challenge
Yep.
back into 2 small groups, and now you're out, and you're not on the jury, and you don't get to see the end of the
You're
game.
done.
Yeah.
You can watch it on TV.
Yeah. That's rough. That
Yep.
might make me cry, too. Tim says in his quick little confessional there, they got me. I was a leader, not a loser. I don't know about that, Tim. We didn't get to see that version
He
of you.
thought he was a leader,
Yeah.
but
We'll see what he says in his interviews tomorrow. Okay, ready to go to the next Tribal Council?
Tribal Council number 2.
Purple team.
Liz, I've made friends with lots of people.
Excited. She's excited.
Soda says it's Charlie.
Charlie says there's a big red target on me.
And Tevin's, I think he's trying to throw it off. Well, we're not quite ready to let go of Tribe Strong yet.
Tribal lines, yep.
Yeah, for Nami. So, yep, he's playing that card. So I didn't know at that point really which way they're going to go.
Yeah, if they were going to go logical or if they were going to go emotional.
Yep.
Venus tells us she's still concerned. It should be an easy vote, but she's definitely on the line too.
Yeah,
She's been
could be
called out
me
before.
too. Well, I think what she really was thinking is that obviously Charlie he's in jeopardy, so he would play his shot in the dark, and if he was safe, it would go to her. I don't think she thought for a second that they would not vote Charlie.
Maybe.
That's what I thought.
Okay. What did you make of what Maria was talking about? There's nowhere to hide, and it was like her party preparation. She got all
Yeah, she got all
gussied up, but she
gussied
didn't.
up. Nobody
What does
showed
she mean,
up to
no
the
guest?
party.
We saw lots of people talking to her, so multiple
Yeah.
times. I didn't understand where she was going with that.
I didn't quite know what she was talking about either, but I think she was maybe just deflecting that, because they still got to play. So just no, I wasn't taking sides with anybody. I was just, nobody really talked that much to me.
Soda says they're for Nami, so there's a luxury they have. She didn't need to be running around talking to everyone.
Well,
There was a lack of worry for her.
Liz is like, well, I'm staying Nami strong. I didn't even bring my bag.
Yeah.
Of course,
Nice.
Jeff couldn't let that slide. He's like,
Sure.
Charlie, how you feel about Liz didn't even bring her bag?
Not great. So he invoked the power of the shot in the dark there.
Yep.
Just keep some uncertainty in play.
Yep, which he didn't waste on that. He wasn't feeling afraid anymore.
Venus is hoping the odds are ever in her favor, but she knows there's some votes coming her way.
Yep.
Yeah, and like you said, Charlie makes a point of saying, no, not going to play my shot in the dark. I'm just going to vote.
Well, and I think she gets it now that there's no way Maria's going to work with her. Therefore, Charlie either. So
then
she
Maria
didn't
seemed to
have
be
anywhere
saying
else
as
to go.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
She really didn't. She had to go back to Nami because nobody else was.
No advantages or idols are played. We see a vote for Soda, vote for Venus, vote for Soda, vote for Venus. And then Soda is out.
Okay.
First member of the jury.
At least that's what Venus is making us feel right now. That's where the vote's going and everything. And she thinks they're not with her. But is she really trying to deflect as well? And is that why Maria's doing that? To let Venus think we are working with you and keeping her on the line, because after the vote, that look on Venus's face and her putting her arm, I think she put one hand on each of them, Charlie and, and
she was sitting behind Charlie and Maria, and she reached out and touched each of them at the same time, like patted them on the back.
I felt like she was sitting there like, I did this.
Yeah, it did.
I did this.
It did visually
I got
look
these
like
people
that.
to go with me, and
Right.
I did this. I made this happen. It was me. And she told Soda, because Soda thought so too. She's like, even she hugged her, but
Was it
she's
you?
like, that
It
was
was you, wasn't it? That's what Soda asked her.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Love you, classic love you on the way out.
And I think she believes it, that, they're with her.
Maybe, yeah.
And so that'll be interesting going forward to see if that's what she really felt. That's what I was seeing on her face. It's like, oh, she looks quite smug, like, I did it. They listen to me.
Soda
I don't know.
celebrates them, telling them to go out there and crush it, but she looked pretty crushed herself.
Yep. Well, yeah, you would be.
Yeah.
First person on the jury, and I'm sure she thought she's really going places, because she does have a great personality and people do like her. Even though she and
Not
Venus nitpick at her. But
Well, certainly she didn't make peace with Liz.
But they're not voting her off because they don't like her. They're voting her off because they do. And they know that a lot of people like her and that she's just too good at it.
That's certainly where Tevin came from in the beginning when he called out the need to get rid of Soda.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of them are coming from. I'm not sure why Liz didn't like her, but
There appears to be a greater emphasis in the 40s on the social threat than the physical threat.
yes.
That people are watching for that and working very diligently to eliminate it as much as possible, as soon as possible.
Yeah, and like most of the winners, whereas they used to be a lot of physical winners, that's been more social. Well, physical and social. They did great in the game, or they became famous because they got this far in the game because they won physical challenges. But all of a sudden, in the new age, they kind of shifted
Recognize
that to,
the emphasis is truly on social.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. So what did you think of the episode overall? This one day series that happened with the double elimination and the
Well, it was more Survivor, so of course I enjoyed that. But it seemed a little hectic.
the bouncing. I'm not fond of breaking apart again after you've merged. The undoing of the merge for this event,
And you kind of
because they need a double elimination. This is the way they've chosen to do it in the 40s. But
Yeah, and they were separate. They weren't completely merged last week, so I guess you can't say they. But it felt like that they had switched into two teams because only half of them had to be voted for. And then this week they do actually do it and break them into two, and they have to vote separately.
yeah, so you're briefly merged for the night of the 13th. From the time you get to tribal council until the next morning when you go to a challenge, and then you're separated again.
Well, maybe they're thinking they don't want them to get too complacent to making. They want them
Except
to
this pattern has become
scramble.
common.
Yeah, they want them to scramble to make an effort to meet other people. Don't get too complacent, and I don't know.
I like it
seems
for
they
that.
like it,
that
but-
it's certainly a test of how are you going to manage in this situation. You more times than not, luck doesn't break your way, and you're at the mercy of how the numbers came out at the random number generator for how the teams got chosen.
and how well you can schmooze or how much influence you have. But they seem to, a lot of them, it's been their downfall, or it's going to be their downfall.
Because realistically, they haven't had that much time to work. You haven't had a lot of social time to work. They came together on day 12,
Yeah.
and then they had that challenge, and then had to figure out how to vote with the merge feast
They've
on
had
13.
2 whole days.
Yeah, and now we're on 14, and they're separated, broke apart again, and these different.
Well, and I think that's why it feels so hectic. It is.
Yeah, it is. So I guess the edit did a good job of conveying that, so it leaves us with that impression.
And there's no way to feel really secure unless what you think that your alliance is on the team that you get the stuck in.
Well, you just described Soda and that she should have felt okay, but obviously it didn't break that way.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you don't know.
It is
Anyway.
hectic. It's interesting to watch, and you got people just paddling as fast as they can with the limited ability that they have in the context of the game.
It was a little comical to me watching Nami, the way they were doing, and then they
It definitely had some Three Stooges vibes, the way they were
Yeah.
going at each other.
And even with the interactions over on the other team, because Q and then Tim, and it's like they just didn't seem to be cluing in to the other people so well, or maybe it's because they were just desperate. Tim and Ben.
Next time on Survivor, we had a little trouble with our video right
Yes,
at the
we
end.
did.
So
It went away.
we were able to get that
We had audio.
Hunter's hiding from them. So he was up in a tree.
Yeah, we saw him in the
that.
trees before we lost visual.
Yeah, so they're like, somebody's
And they're-
trying to find him, and he's hiding
Where
up in
are
a coconut
you? Where
tree.
are you?
We get Tevin's laugh, and then it looked like Liz was making fun of his laugh and then saying, "Shut up." Was that to him, or was that just an editing trick?
Who knows? I wasn't sure. We didn't
And we
have
see Q saying, "She broke my rule." Who do you think
I'm
she's
the
talking
mob
about?
boss.
Yeah, who's he talking about there?
I would assume Tiffany, or maybe Kenzie, but it could have been Maria. Who knows?
Just go list all the women.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to follow his rule. Well, it's not even just the women. It's the guys, too. He seems to think they all should go along with his plan, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure when he assigned himself the boss, but obviously
out of the
he
gate.
has.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, Jeff's dramatic. Never seen anything like this.
So are we going to get some kind of live tribal first?
Don't know.
Yeah, you can never tell with him. So.
Yeah. So, and we couldn't see anything, so we don't know what was going on.
Oh, to rewatch.
Yeah, we couldn't rewatch it, so
Yeah.
we could only hear.
Yep.
So, but anyway, I still enjoyed it. I wasn't thrilled. I was hoping Venus would go home because I had chosen her, but oh well.
So we don't have JSFL scores because this one's a complicated one. We got to have Steve
yeah.
score that because
Yeah.
of the 2 vote offs and the first on jury bonus.
I can't do the complicated stuff.
Yeah. So we'll cover that on Saturday. Did you have anything you wanted to say about? I think you collected some stats for USBs,
I did.
right?
I did.
How things might have changed.
All right. Well, they've changed considerably, actually. Who's the number one now? Did you
Hunter.
notice? Oh, you saw.
No, I didn't see.
Okay. Hunter went from, he had 62 people and was in the lead pregame, and now currently he has 81 and in the top, still in the top for
Yeah.
the top winner.
Okay.
And we
For the most-
we both went with him too. Didn't you
Yeah.
stay with him?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, because I just thought
I was feeling good about it until I saw
don't think
next.
he can win.
I saw next time on Survivor, and now he's hiding from people that are hunting for him.
I went through that and I thought,
Hunting for Hunter.
I don't think Hunter can win. I would be thrilled if he did, but I just feel like I wanted to cheer for him. So I hope he doesn't, if he wigs out and hides, I don't know. But I thought it would be fun to cheer for him.
Yeah.
And I really like Maria, so I'm okay if she moves up too. Okay, and the second place person currently is Tiffany with 35 people, up from 10. Kenzie is in third. She has 26 people, up from 16.
Nice.
Maria is next with 22 people, up from 4.
Okay.
Q
Big jump.
Q and Tevin each have 18 people, and Q had 20 prior, and Tevin had 12.
Oh,
so Q went down and Tevin went up.
Okay.
Charlie now has 17 people, and he only had 12 before.
Yeah.
I like that because I like him, I like Maria, so I was hoping they'd kind of move up. Okay, for Tim had 14 people, and he had 19, so
Went down a little.
And now they're very happy that they bailed.
Some did, but some stuck around.
Yeah, or they, Okay, 11 people still have Jim as their USB.
I gotta believe they're not playing.
And down from 57.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, people drop out or whatever, and they're
forgot
still
to
in
update.
there, or one of those. So Venus has 8 people, and that's down from 15. Soda had 7, down from 8. And Randon still has 5, and Jess has 5, and Ben has 4, and he stayed even.
Okay.
Had 4 in the beginning, he's still got 4.
Got 4 loyals, Ben.
Liz has 2, down from 4, and Mariah still has 1, down from 5. So
Goodness.
even though they're gone.
Okay. A lot of people forgot to update their USB picks, I think, this last week.
Yeah.
Good
But
deal.
anyway, I like it that Hunter stayed in the top, regardless of what happens. He's, for me, been likable. And I've liked a lot of the things he's done in winning his challenges. And, really, he did hang in there and was tough to carry his tribe through some of that, especially when we saw him dragging 2 people in the water with each arm.
Right.
Who were on their backs. So that was Venus and Tevin at one point. So I have to admire that. He's done well.
Yeah, certainly come off better than I expected preseason.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to cheering for him, although now I'm worried that he's hiding in trees. He's spy checking from the penthouse there.
You have enough things to worry about. I think you can let that one go.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to hearing what you thought about this episode, the vote outs. You can call the voicemail line 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio and attach it, or you can send it in an email and we'll read it into the show on your behalf. That's Joanne and Stacy Show at gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays. We ask that you keep it, whether you write it or you record it or you're calling in that 3-minute range, so we can get everybody prepped for the show on Saturday. Curious what you thought. How did your assessment of the castaways change after the events of this week? Who impressed you the most? Who do you think's playing the best? Who's in jeopardy of being voted out next? The finale they announced will be on May 22nd. So we'll go into the finale, it looks like, with 5 again.
Yep.
Good deal. Looking forward to hearing from you. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I look forward to Saturday.
Yeah, have a good one.